Yeah, you know. It is another rock and roll march, yours truly overtime, every time already more than an hour and 33 minutes, 93 minutes plus in my march. Already at Westmount. Very warm when I left, it was 6 degrees. Still lots of snow, but it actually rained a bit. I kind of slowed down a little bit now, the rain, so gotta begin with gratitude, grateful, thankful my rent's paid, electricity bill's paid, got food and coffee, and the march now, yours truly. Thank you to my anonymous friend who donated this bag, this beautiful blue jacket that I'm wearing, encouraging all to work out, train, exercise, working out, training, and exercising. Has been, is, and shall be my medicine and therapy of choice. Here we are on the peak Westmount, peak Westmount. One of the 3 peaks of Mount Royal, my second home, Mount Royal of the Belvedere, Conure Neck. Maybe we're gonna go just parallel to the rocks, because I don't want to be a too long one today, because already did the dancing workout, so now we're just gonna march a little bit, so we're gonna just do a little bit of marching meditation. Always grateful, thankful, rent's paid, electricity bills paid. Got food and coffee, encouraging all to work out, train, exercise, and working out, training, exercising has been, is, and shall continue to be my medicine and therapy of choice. Ascending down furthermore Westmount. Please give some charity, Wall Street. Thank you, salutations, some of that good, loving rock and roll to the butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, firefighters, truckers, plumbers, electricians, and the welders, mathematicians, teachers, all those in the daycares who changed some diapers today, Tuesday, the 25th of February. Got an artist, a little bit of art for them, 24/7. LOV to the firefighters of the North American Collective, celebrating, marking, special march until March. Special marching until March is going to be celebrating 5 years since I had COVID, survived COVID. Back in 2020, between February 7th and 2020, between February 7th, 2020 and March 24th, 2020, 5 years ago, had COVID, survived COVID, and it was really hardcore. I always say it is like I died there in my underground room house and temple. Dragon's Lair, in many ways I did die. Nothing that I will to go back to. Living for today, with that carpe diem for tomorrow. So it's something which I gotta be meditating on, and these tough times today, of course, with some of that uncertainty looming over the horizon, with that 25% interest. Of course, it is a Dragon versus Trump edition. If you don't know, I have been and we're going to challenge Donald Trump to a boxing match on the Canadian-US border. Ever since Donald Trump imposed tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel back in 2018, spring, first Trump administration, Donald Trump imposed tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel, 10% on Canadian aluminum and steel, and now with the remission that is going to be the continuing of imposing tariffs on all goods, Canadian goods. This Quebecer Canadian North American who was born in the USA 3 times, post 77 and 6, once as a woman, twice as a man, and served in the same United States Armed Forces, 2 different wars, 156 years apart. Let's go on the Canadian-US border. Let's build, construct the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, create a common currency, common passport, and integrated defense security service force, the Dragon Army, aka North American Integrated Dance League on the 21st century vibe for the public-private partnership, you know. Always grateful, thankful my rent's paid, electricity bill's paid, and I work, although I have Asperger's, and this is my work, and now as a YouTuber and geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist who has predicted the international conflagration which is happening now, and which of course when I go back by midnight, it could be that China invades Taiwan. Taiwan is the Republic of China. It's a possibility on the horizon, even of a public financial crash. Could be tomorrow, as soon as tomorrow, a black swan. Don't want to be too alarmist, but there could be a black swan. What's important is, all what I'm going to say is today, tomorrow, when you're going to hear this, with consent, hygiene, HUG, get that hug from me like you never hugged before. Tell the leaders of the free world to drop down, give Dragon 11 push-ups with that LOVE, because it's not all about fight. You gotta get some loving. Please, butchers, mayonnaise, billionaires, give some charity. Finance the firefighters, finance the firefighters massage therapy session. Finance the firefighters a massage therapy session. They deserve it, earning more than yours. Truly, firefighters of North America. Please, NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association. Please reduce the cost of the tickets by 44.9%. My estimated financial economic costs need to be reduced by 44.9%, with the prices increasing and of course the majority of the salaries stagnating. We need to get that. Global Dragon Union, North American Dragon Union, aka North American Collective Workers Party. Let's rock and roll for the North American Collective Workers Party. And again, gonna say, don't want to be too alarmist, but due to the fact that we paid more than ever the interest only on the public debt, only the interest on the public debt has more than doubled during COVID. And last year we paid 46.5 billion. That's 46,000 million, because the billion has 9 zeros. And of course, if you make that equivalency from what it was 2020, 2021, it was 20.3. So it is a possibility of a black swan event in the public finances of Canada. It can start as soon as tomorrow, Wednesday the 26th of February 26th. Today is the 25th. Yesterday was the 24th. And celebrating this celebratory march, I got exactly $2.40. Thank you to the cashier, because I was missing 10 cents, and said, I got you covered. And I was missing 10 cents. You know, I'm financially stressed, but grateful, thankful I got trillions of kisses, trillions of marching steps, and lots of that good rock and roll, you know. So anyways, said, I'm gonna cover you for 10 cents, and when I get back to my headquarters, I'm gonna be celebrating with some wafers, affordable wafers. That's my good to go wafers, and 2 chocolate bars at 50 cents each, and the wafers were $1.25. So the cost was $2.40 Canadian, $2.40 Canadian for 3 different sweets items. You know, I like that sweet stuff. So $2.40, but I was missing 10 cents. And he said, the cashier worker, hope you get a 10% raise ASAP by tomorrow. He said, I got you covered for 10 cents, you know, because I was going to remove. I said, okay, take off this. And he said, no, you know what? I got you covered. I said, thank you, love you. And that was something, you know, solidarity. Solidarity just for 10 cents, you know, solidarity. And I would have covered it probably. I said I would have probably done the same, you know. Anyways, charity is important, and yes, money, we gotta be balanced, of course, because some individuals are, you know, I don't like ingrates much, but that's what it is with that, and that's what we gotta get doing. So it's something which we gotta do, and we gotta must. So that is what it is with that. So that is what we gotta do, you know. So here's a beauty, and that's why I gotta give meditation. And you know, when I had COVID, and between February 7th 2020 and March 24th 2020, I was really sick. It was like death, pestilence, and disease. It was like death, pestilence, and disease. See how it goes up. And you know, it sounds like a death hardcore or death trash metal song when I say it was like death, pestilence, and disease, but that's really how I felt. And I always say, I thought when I had it, you know, 5 years ago when I had it, I said, this is it for me. This is it. This is my last day. This is my chapter. My last chapter, you know. That's it. But it wasn't. Somehow I survived it. And I got triple vaccinated, because when I had it, it was right at the beginning. It was even before when the WHO declared officially a pandemic and the lockdowns began. When the lockdowns began, I kind of started feeling better already. So I had it right at the beginning, man. Right at the beginning, I had COVID. So 5 years, wow. 2020, between February 7th and March 24th. So I always say I died during COVID, and I'm being reborn. Nothing that I will to go back to see how it goes down. So now we're on the mountain. See, that's far off, and now it still can go up. So we're on the peak of the three-peak mountain system known as Mount Royal, at the heart center right between the east and the west of Montreal, and south, right on the south side. And that's what it is with that. So that's what we're gonna get doing with that. So that's what we're gonna get on the go now, to exercise a little bit. And thank you to the public workers, you know, public workers. So we're gonna take up the garbage. We're gonna pick up the garbage, and gotta get some loving with them also, you know, because it's not all about Wall Street. Money is to buy, sell, and we need to get the labor in the 21st century, being a pro-labor love revolutionary centrism. My centrism is North American centric, based on my philosophies. My revolutionary centrism, universal revolutionary centrism, is tied hand in hand, and it's equated and integrated with my trinity of theories, which I'm calling all to implement across the North American collective, across North America. I don't know about the 51st state, but as Quebecer Canadian who was born in the USA, served in the US Army. 2 different wars, same army, 156 years apart, past lives, incarnation. Just read George Patton, Three Glass Darkly, one of my favorite generals, who also believed in reincarnation like yours truly. And I believe in the North American Union, in a public-private partnership, 21st century, because investing in the border from a geopolitical perspective, and I am an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist, or theoretical analyst, geopolitical theoretical analyst, and of course, investing in the border resources. We gotta invest resources, and to do for the Great North American Census. The Great North American Census, to create a common passport and a common unit of exchange. Common passport, common currency, common passport, common currency, and a common unit of exchange. You need to create a common passport and a common unit of exchange based on my DRT theory. And we need to unite, because it's better to invest security, service, and defense based on my protocols and initiatives, which are fundamentally public-private partnership based, PVB based, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, in the ports and the airports, in the ports and the airports, best. That's what we need to do, and that's why we need to focus on the majority of the point of inflection, and of course of potential whatever we have to deal with, the fentanyl, the whatever, the organized crime, and the fentanyl, and the potential threats to national security now with a changing new world order. You know, the world has changed, and we gotta get that North American Union. We gotta get that Dragon Army. We gotta do a census. See everybody who's lived here for the past 5 years, or 7 years. In 2017, I crossed Canada coast to coast, and that event really changed my whole life. Before that, I was depressed. I was suicidal. I moved from a moldy place, sick disease, and suicidal, depressed, and crossing Canada coast to coast, I had a revelation. You know, I said so many things to do, to see. When I reached Banff, I was amazed, and that event in my life, crossing Canada coast to coast, made me establish a strong esprit de corps with my fellow Canadians. Made me establish a strong esprit de corps with my fellow Canadians. Maybe establish a strong esprit de corps with my families. You know, Quebecers is my family. Quebecers are my family. Canadians and all who come to join us. North Americans also, my brothers and sisters in the USA. I can march to the border. We need to get rid of the border, unite. My protocol is best, and I'm no Trump supporter, but I believe in further integration. Of course, with the threat of tariffs looming 25%, you know, I say that's of course not the way to invite us for a union. You know, throw some parades, throw some marching dance bands, finance Canadians to visit the 50 states best, rather than bullying and threats and coercion such in that manner. So Dragon versus Storm, fight me on the Canadian-US border, and let's build Canadians Americans as North Americans, because we here in the true North, strong and free, we also gotta add some of that love, love, love. Just like my brothers and sisters in the home of the brave, land of the free, home of the brave is not enough. Gotta get some of that LOV with it, eh? Some of that good loving, and a little bit of that balance, you know, and some justice, some justice, some justice. You know, we got a lot of work to do here, coast to coast. Freedom. I got both freedom and Canada. That it all mine. On me, don't ask me how I when, probably decades ago, because I got that lost retrograde amnesia, memory loss. Sometimes it comes back, and I don't know if it was COVID that caused it, if it was being attacked by surprise, or if it was the mold, you know. If it was the mold where I lived, you know, if it was the mold where I lived, whatever the case may be. Here I am. We gotta get it on that go, so that's what we gotta get doing, you know. So we gotta get on the go now, you know. So it's something which we gotta do. And gotta give a salutation to that Hydro-Quebec. Look at that beautiful lights. Thank you, Hydro-Quebec. Let's build more dams. All the electricity here comes and is zero pollution. Zero emission, zero pollution, energy and electricity. So we gotta get that loving with it. You know. So that's what we gotta get on the do. So we gotta get it on the do. Hydro-Quebec. Now I'm ascending a little bit. I'm ascending much because I've been ascending for a long time now, and you can see it still goes up. But this is very high in altitude, although there's houses here, you know. We're on the mountain. We're on the mountain. The 3 peaks, and, you know, grateful, thankful, rent's paid, electricity bills paid. Got food and coffee. Thank you again to my the anonymous cashier who put 10 cents Canadian, 10 cents Canadian out of their own pocket. Because, yeah, it's on me, because the cashier was gonna, I said, I'll just remove this candy bar, chocolate bar, because it was 50 cents and the cost was $2.40 and I only had $2.30, so I was missing 10 cents, and said, I got you, so hope we get a raise. You know, let's get that executive order, Mr. Trump, to raise the minimum wage. Let's get that executive order to build the North American inner urban cities, aka the ghettos. Get that executive order to rebuild the ghettos, the North American urban cities. Let's get that. And to rebuild the ghettos, the North American inner urban cities, the ghettos. Let's get that doing, you know. As a democratic Republican, as a pro-liberal, love, universal, revolutionary, centrist, and androgynous pansexual with Asperger's, I believe my Trinity theory is best for the creation of the two complementary covenant and cooperative institutions, the Dragon Army for security, service, and defense, like that hardball ball, aka blackout ball, and the North American Integrated Dance League and Dancing Goddess Army, the North American Integrated Dance League, aka the Dancing Goddess Army, North American Integrated Dance League for the environment, the North American Integrated Dance League for the environment, and the Dragon Army, you know. So that's what it is with that, and that's what it is with that. So that's what we gotta get doing, you know. So it's something which we gotta be on the trajectory side, and that's what we gotta be doing there. That's what we gotta be doing there. So that's why we gotta keep on the move side. So stay prudent on the roads. That's a big truck with the snow. We got record snow here, so record snowfall. It occurred, of course, record snowfall last week, but it was 3 days apart, different storms, a good double storm, right? It wasn't the same storm, but it was a double storm. So here, when you see the red flashing light like that, that means that we gotta stop and go. It's basically like you do a stop sign here in Montreal, like it flashes like that. But you gotta be prudent, you know, because brakes malfunction, electricity malfunction, brakes malfunction, electricity, you know. Citizen driver might press the accelerator instead of the brake, so there we go, that red, my favorite color, that's what I said. And gotta salute the firefighters, the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, the electricians, and the plumber. Here we are, Mount Royal, my second home, born close to several times in past lives, right around the, was born a few times as a man, as in a woman. You get that 50-50 now, and round about Montreal, round about the mountain as well. So we're gonna go, we're thinking about going all the way to the top or go around about it. Sometimes we come, and we love coming here in my second home, but now I guess if I go up, the city is not going to be visible to see because of the trajectory of the lines, and of course it is quite on the foggy side, so I guess it wouldn't be even that practical to go around about it. I guess we can just go, maybe going down the stairs, go a little bit and see how that goes, or go all the way to the side here. Pretty clear. Anybody want to finance that I go up and down these stairs 300 times? Made it at the Montreal, made it to the mountain, and it's already past 9:30. So I said if I'm gonna go back, then I got about 2 hours because I want to get back by midnight, which is gonna be for more than 4 hours, as I did more than 4 hours yesterday. So what we're gonna do, I guess we can just go by the side and go drop it down and see how it goes. And anybody want to finance that I go up and down these stairs 300 times with some of that good rock and roll for the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, the farmers, the grocery store clerks, all involved in the production, distribution of food, the truckers, plumbers, electricians, welders, IT workers, bus drivers, those in the daycares, the teachers, the electricians, and that's what it is now. So there we go. We can go a little bit on the side, and that's a little bit of showing where you are and the positioning. So here we are at the mountain, my second home. Mount Royal, the Belvedere, Conjuranak is over there. So here we are. Gotta say my gratitude again, grateful, thankful, rent paid, electricity bill is paid, and I will to build with your construction workers. Put some on the table, those kisses, those hugs, those kisses, those hugs, those kisses, hugs and tickles to the construction workers, those tickles, those hugs for the construction workers who are gonna build on the Canadian-US border. The North American People's Imperial Coliseum, the North American Imperials People's Coliseum. Let's build the North American People's Imperial Coliseum on the Canadian-US border. Let's build it together. That North American People's Imperial Coliseum, and I will to build also the Forgotten Goddess Temple, you know, the Forgotten Goddess Temple, or the Temple of the Goddess of a million, a trillion, a billion names, the Forgotten Goddess Temple, aka the Temple of the Goddess is a trillion names, and the pyramid, House of the Dragon, austere, severe, but scarlet, crimson and scarlets are shades of vivid red, my favorite color. And the fourth building which I will to build is the Rainbow People's Palace for my fellow LGBTQ community, nation across nations, got at Asperger's, and part of the LGBTQ plus community, being androgynous, pansexual, artist, athlete, philosopher, geopolitical, theoretical, honest, and theorist, and mystic. When I come here, often I get flashes of past lives, reincarnations. Past lives and reincarnations often when I come here. And of course I Love to do a little bit of that matchmaking and with consent hug like you never hugged before. Let's go ready for some rock and roll before I discuss the DRT. Let's get it! You know that I entered a trance for the rock and roll. On the go and on the snow. Hey, it's above average, that temperature, the hot. The lions and the snakes, the hawks up in the air. Rainbow with a black and a white, you know I said it. Yeah. And the truckers and the welders and the plumbers and the electricians and the nurses and the doctors, firefighters. Somebody gotta sing. For those flipping some burgers, it ain't all about Wall Street. It ain't all about Wall Street, cause everybody gotta eat. You know I sing without a guitar. I don't live, I got plenty of scars. And I kiss it for you see, and I kiss it for you see. Keep my name out of your mouth if it's not for blessing. Otherwise, let it be past it. Let it be past it. Let it be past it. That's whatever love, sevenfold, eventually unfold to the mass so I can say fold. I don't owe nobody nothing. I ain't got even no money for the studio. I roam with that freedom. Freedom, it ain't easy. Gotta give it for the Eagles, gotta give it for the squats. Let's go pledge your legions. Dar family, you know the rock. Let's go pledge your legions. Dar family, you know the rock. The song on the rock, pledge your legions. Dar family, you know the rock. On the tick and talking on the clock. You know the hawk. That's the bird. You know the hawk, that's the bird that told him. So you know I already told him. Gotta kiss it for the swingers. You know I don't mind that cuckoo what I said. Oh yeah, whoa. Yeah, I play that rainbow. I take it both on the side, so you know I say switch it on the go. I don't mind if I get married to be once in a while. Did I cuckold? I got a song for the cuckolds also. I think maybe that would be my happy marriage, you know. Sexuality needs to be channeled, and you want to make LOV, you know, black, white, rainbow, men, women, you know. But just like entering a club, we're getting some of that legal, because it's cannabis. Weed is legal here, or liquor, whatever, booze, alcohol, but you're gonna get carded, you know. The Rainbow Dragon gonna ask for your cards. You gotta be 18 plus for this one. Ain't no South Park SB. Let's go for the Dragon Army. Pledge your allegiance, support the dream. My dream. The dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom is fundamentally. Dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom is fundamentally. The dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom is fundamentally. The dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom is fundamentally a call for a public-private partnership across the collective North American civilizational complex, across North America, basically. That is my dream. Pledge your allegiance to our family here. I don't know if somebody gonna come go that skates. Maybe not, because it was on the plus side. It's getting a bit colder now, so I see some people there, maybe somebody there, or I gotta go check my eyes, you know, getting that March, gonna go check my eyes with it, so always gotta be attentive and prudent, you know, for my own little life here. Sometimes people have dogs and certain breeds make me sneeze, so I always gotta get it on the go as I come to the mountain here on the LOV, even when it rains, when it pours, when it's thunder, when it's snow. You know, that's how it goes, and that's how I get that good loving, you know, on the mountain here, my second home with the Belvedere. I gotta be attentive. I can't see that far to see if anybody getting on the skates, but here it is, you know, getting on the mountainside, and we gotta get it on the dew, so it's something which I gotta be attentive with, you know, so it's something which somebody there getting out, there's somebody there. Oh yeah, have fun. That's have fun. Somebody's sliding, I guess. Have fun, safe and prudent, and I don't know, my cousin, my uncle, I don't know what gender he, or both, or other gender, you know, whatever the case may be. LOV, give to charity Wall Street for reduce the tickets by 44.9%. NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB, 44.9%. Being is, I wish I would have had 44 billion when Trump got elected. I would have taken 10%, which would have been the equivalent of 4.4 billion, and I would have went incognito, dirty on hoodie, and give 50,000 to men, women, black, white, and I would have whispered, this is my second chance. This is my second chance. This is your redemption. So I would have given some of that good charity, to people which I could have done, random, those in need, and I would have given them 50,000 and whispered, "This is your second chance. This is my redemption." Because with money's to buy, sell, and I'm not totally selfless. I like my wafers, sweets, and a little bit of wine, and invite all here. Top Mount Royal, pledge your allegiance to our family at the Belvedere Conjuring Act, at the Belvedere Conjuring Act, at the Belvedere Conjuring Act. All the Top Mount Royal at the Belvedere Conjuring Act, my second home, in this life and in another one. And of course, in this life and in another one. And all the leaders of North America, Canada, US, and let's extend it NATO, and beyond for the Dragon Zero Summit. Nobody's born a dragon, I've driven myself. Took blood, sweat, and tears, and tens of thousands of marching steps, push-ups. Today already marched more than the generals of NATO combined. Today already marched more than the generals of NATO combined. Let's go build the North American Imperial People's Coliseum on the Canadian-US border. Let's build the Forgotten Goddess Temple, the Forgotten Goddess Temple, and that's why I need to get building, and the Forgotten Goddess Temple with the pyramid, the House of the Dragon, scarlet, crimson, red, and the Rainbow People's Palace. Here's my second home, Belvedere Conjuring Act coming up, and the mountain, Mount Royal. In this life and another life, I was born round about the mountain. I spent, when I come here over the past more than 7 years, and of course I get those mystic revelations of reincarnations, and sometimes I was born a man, a woman, and that's rock and roll, Dragon versus Trump. We need to avoid the 25% tariffs which are looming, and with my neurological mental divergent condition, there's always the question of building bridges with fellow neurotypicals, because I'm part of a tiny minority, Aspies, people with HFA, high-functioning autistics, who have Asperger's like myself being an Aspie. I'm part of a tiny minority who has less than 1%, less than half of a percentile, less than 0.44%, less than 0.44% have Asperger's, and people like me who are Aspies, we have that Asperger's. So that's what we gotta be doing, and that's what we gotta be meditating upon, and that's what we gotta be doing, so it's something which we gotta do, something which we gotta say, and something which we gotta carpe diem it every day since I died of COVID, and celebrating, marking 5 years. 5 years, wow, 5 years. And I just remember moving from a moldy place, crossing Canada coast to coast, and that event really changed my whole life. I started working out, training, exercising. I created my whole workout training program system, which is efficient, simple, and effective, requires no equipment, and it's important to note, because it goes integrated and hand in hand with my World War III scenario. So I've been in the World War III mode ever since October, November. I've been in a World War III mode ever since October, November. So that's what it is with that. So that's what we gotta be doing, So that's what we gotta be observant on. So that's what we gotta be XYZ, So that's what we gotta be XYZ, and we gotta be on the XYZ with the notification. So keep in mind that. So now that I stated, I gotta commence discussing the DRT, debt refusion theory. Super important that I discuss it, and again calling Donald Trump to fight me in a boxing match, and let's get a common currency. Let's say no to the tariffs, yes to a common currency, and not, if you want to invite us, come 51st state. You can only strengthen each other, but you need to sign an executive order to finance healthcare. Get 10% tax on the billionaires. Get 10% tax on the billionaires. Get 10% tax on the billionaires. Don't BS. Don't BS. Get in the center. You know. So yours truly, and we're gonna play Dragon Army. We're gonna play that defense only, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, and rebuild the North American inner urban cities, the ghettos, and finance, fitness, mass finance, physical activity, and reconstruction, and build those 44 tunnels. Construct 44 tunnels in case of a thermonuclear war for the continuity of the North American civilizational collective. Because I don't know. Just didn't think about it. People's Republic of China, mainland China, has during the past 3.5 years increased by more than 20%, perhaps even more than 25%, their nuclear arsenal. So think about it. How come, it abrogated their certain nuclear treaties, and they built more warheads during COVID during the past 5 years by more than 20%. So that's 1/5, 20%. So if they had 10 before, that means they built more than 2. If they had 100, they built more than 20, because that's the coefficient correlation of the percentiles, right? So anyways, I want to discuss now the DRT, debt refusion theory. The DRT, my brothers and sisters, is the only solution or something similar to the public in the public financial sphere, in the matters of the public finances, where we are now with the public financial matters of today's public financial situation. Why do I make that statement? I make that statement, of course, because due to the fact that we paid last year 46.5 billion in interest on the public debt. A billion has 9 zeros. So in 2020, 2021, the number was 20.3 billion. 20.3 billion double, that's 40.6. So 40.6, that would have been double. It more than doubled. Of course, due to COVID, yes. Programs had to be implemented during the COVID health crisis, which overlapped into the economic, financial, commercial sphere, and citizens had to be protected from going bankrupt, from not having food, not being able to pay rent. So yes, but not the only reason. Several other motives. So now we have record, both Canada, US, North America, Canada, US, we have both public and private record debt levels. But just the interest has more than doubled, right? In 3 years in Canada. So if you make a calculation as an individual, because the same financial mathematical principle applies, just say citizen X, me, I don't have a credit cards, I do not have credit cards, I have a credit loan. I have a credit line. So having that credit line, so that's what it is with that. So having that credit line, I paid 11% interest. So that is just a point in fact. So think about an individual citizen whose interest payments in 2020 were 156. If those interest payments go from 156 to 333, let's say for explanation scenario reasons, if the interest goes from 156 to 333, so if it more than doubles, just the interest servicing, just the payments on the debt, not the principal on the debt, but the interest. If it goes from 156 to 333, that's more than double. So automatically, you have to cut the spending, right? Because unless the salary doubles, then you can keep up the same spending. But otherwise, you have to reduce. Maybe the internet consumption, Netflix. Have to go out less. Have to don't buy wine anymore. Don't buy cheese. Don't buy bacon. Don't buy cheese. Don't buy whatever the case may be. So that's what it is with that. So that's just what it is. So it's something which we gotta be mindful. So that is just the point in interest. Of course, the fact that the interest has, of course, doubled. Just the interest, of course, has doubled from 156 let's say to 333. That's more than double. So that's what happened with the interest on the public debt. That's exactly what happened with the interest on the public debt. So it went from 20.3 billion to 46.5. So the fact that, of course, it more than doubled from 20.3 to 46.5, that is just the amount which, of course, has doubled. 20.3 double would have been 40.6, 46.5, 46.5. So that is just the amount that is double. So that's what it is with that. That's what it is with that. So that's what we got to get doing with that. So we got to get doing on that. So that is what it is. 20.3 double would have been 40.6, 46.5. That is the amount of interest which we pay on the public debt, So that is the amount which we pay on the public debt. So that is of consequence, is the financial consequential, of course, which we got to get doing with that. So just on that point in time, on that financial matters, is of course that we have to be aware of that fact. And the mathematical principle is the same with the public and the private in these matters of paying interest. That has to reduce the spending. So what are we going to cut in the public finances? The police, the security service, the correctional facilities, the garbage collection, the sanitation, those who pick up the garbage, the recycling, somewhere that has to be reduced. And just 3 weeks ago, I've noticed there has been thousands of layoffs in the Immigration Canada, which is public institution. Immigration Canada is public institution, Immigration Canada. So maybe it's correlated to that, not stated outwardly, but it's a possibility on the horizon that tomorrow a black swan in the public finances of Canada arise. Because you understand that the interest only has more than doubled in 3 years. So the GDP of Canada, the economy of Canada has not doubled. The economy of Canada has not doubled. There we are at the top. That is my favorite skyscraper there, the pyramid. I wonder who built it, whoever built that skyscrapers and all the skyscrapers. Gotta give some salutation and some LOVE. That's the pyramid, see? That pyramid there. That's my favorite. I mean, there's many which are beautiful, but that's my favorite skyscraper. I wonder who built it. Gotta give some LOVE, man. Construction workers rock. Imagine going on the cranes to build up like that. That's gotta admire that. LOV to the construction workers who built all this skyscrapers, beautiful, and that's my favorite skyscraper there. The pyramid. Sometimes it's red, my favorite color, but nonetheless, here it is. The city gonna sing some rock and roll and continue again with the DRT. Rock and roll for the road, for the butchers and the plumbers, and the electricians and the doctors. You know, we gotta swing it those hips so you can't see it. Gotta give me some loving. From Montreal, you know we say it. For the butchers and the bakers and the nurses and the doctors, those public workers picking up the sanitation and those picking up the snow. We got 2.5 million. That's the island on the go. Island on the Haka. Island of the Haka. This is the island of the Haka. H-A-W-K. You know I sing it. Singing for the melody, you know I see it. Coast to coast, ocean to ocean. We gotta get that Dragon Union. For the dream, pledge your allegiance. Legions, pledge your allegiance. Legions, pledge your allegiance. Legions to our family, that pyramid. You know we gotta build it. Let's go for the DRT. So again, there's no other way out of this, out of where we are now. So the fact that it, of course, just like an individual, if the interest doubles, of course, one has to reduce the spending. So the fact that one has to reduce the spending is, of course, a point. Otherwise, if it doubles, if the interest doubles, the salaries have to double also. The salary has to double also. So that's just how it is, right? Mathematical financial principle is just how it is. There's no other way. Something very similar to my DRT theory has to be implemented. There's no other way. So now I'm gonna go down by there. So I'm gonna do some consecration, Telemite rites. Do it, Haribon, horse, do it, horse, on it, set, horse, no, Rag, the mirror, no, so just the same principle applies. The same principle applies. So we have to reduce spending. The same principle applies to it.